Guys, so today we are reacting to his story now because we reacted to her story right here. And don't question me why there is a Nora I built a dream home there. It's not her video, it's my video, because you have to see this, the title. You have to read the title. So anyway, let's do this. Oh, this is from my last video. I'm sorry. I used to watch this guy a lot.
The robot I built to do my chores went rogue and was stalking me through my own house. It was programmed to eliminate everything dirty it found. I didn't realize that I hadn't taken a shower that day, and I was filthy from assembling all the parts. Now that mistake could cost me my life. The minute it came online, I became its prime target. There was nowhere to hide. The robot had my scent and was closing in slowly. I was cornered with no escape route. It raised its left arm. At the end was a brush with steel bristles. Eliminate mess by any means necessary. The steel brush began spinning with enough force to strip the skin from my bones. As the robot moved toward me, it knocked my grandmother's urn off a shelf. It shattered, and her ashes went everywhere. The robot immediately shifted focus. New target acquired. It used its other arm to vacuum the ashes. I took my opportunity and ran past it. Sorry, Grandma, but thanks for buying me some time. As I ran through the house, I knocked over every plant, plate, and vase I passed, making more mess to distract the robot. I was great at robotics, so the machine made quick work of it. I ran up to the bathroom and hid in the shower, but it wasn't long before it found me. I looked around, nothing to grab but the handle to turn the shower on. I was cooked. Then an idea struck me like lightning. I threw the shower on. Cold water ran down my body, washing the dirt away with it. The robot stopped in its tracks. Target lost. It turned around in search of more mess, exposing the off switch on its back. I jumped out of the shower and threw the switch. The robot collapsed. I looked around my house. There was still a lot to clean up now, but after all of that, I was happy to do it myself. The robot I built to do my chores went. I opened the door to my mom's friends, and they instantly ran upstairs into my room. I followed them confused and saw them opening my clothes drawers, inspecting dust on my windowsill, and grabbing candy bar wrappers off my desk, yelling, "Why isn't this cleaned? At least that's."
Why isn't this clean? Because he hasn't eaten them yet, and you guys are Karens.
How Mom made it seem it would be when she had me deep clean my room 2 hours ago, spraying antibacterial fluid in corners I'd never even touched. But when Mom's friends came over, not a single one went to my room. They were too busy drinking wine and making an actual mess in the living room, while I took off my cleaning gloves, having just wasted hours to please people who never even cared. I opened the door to my mom.
Put it back. You're not allowed to have that.
Why not? The sign says everyone can.
Because I said so.
Dylan
You're
got
not the
Put
king.
it back.
Dylan got in my face and crossed his arms. "You can't be here. This is my cliff."
Another bully video from my reacting to her story. There's a bully video that wanted to like her now, and now there's another bully video.
I told him this cliff was part of nature and didn't belong to anyone, then looked down at the 100-foot fall into the water. My legs shook, ready to do the cliff jump I'd been training for all summer. But then I felt Dylan shove me from behind. He knocked me off balance, and I started descending 100 feet. I screamed, unable to control the fall, and smashed into the water face first. I came up 10 seconds later, water pouring from my nose as my whole body hurt. Dylan hurled through the air seconds later and landed in the water, pointing at me and laughing. "I told you this cliff was mine." At the hospital, doctors told me the impact had crushed my lungs, broken my jaw, my orbital bone, and both shins. I spent 6 months in the hospital getting surgeries and a hollow tube placed in my chest just so I could breathe again. My 2 brothers sat with me every day, swearing they'd get revenge on Dylan, but I stayed silent the whole time because even talking hurt too much. When I finally came back to school on crutches, Dylan took them from me on my first day. "What's wrong, Cliff Boy? Can't handle a little shove?" He shoved me in the back with the crutches just like before, and I immediately fell, my legs too weak to hold me up. I cried in pain as Dylan laughed, and at home told my brothers everything. The rest of the year, Dylan splashed me with water and hit my chest, knowing my lungs were weak, even threatening to push me again if I ever came to his cliff again. So I did. That summer, I walked up to the cliff, my heart pounding as I stepped with my crutches. Dylan was preparing to jump from 110 feet, and when he saw me, his face lit up. Here to get pushed again, he walked towards me, but I threw my hands up. "I'm not here to jump. I just want to watch you do what you're so good at." He laughed as I stroked stroked his ego. That's right, I'm the best. He turned around, but right as he started running towards the cliff, I stuck my foot out. Dylan tripped and face planted in the dirt. I laughed at him, but then I saw him curling his fists, ready to get up and beat me to a pulp. That's when I whistled. My two older brothers instantly emerged from the bushes and picked Dylan up before he could react. He thrashed, but they were too strong. I walked up to him. Now say sorry or we're throwing you down. He instantly started begging. I'm sorry, please let me go. But I just shook my head. I don't think so, Cliff Boy. I snapped my fingers, and my brothers tossed Dylan over, sending him flying 110 feet down his own cliff. I watched him smash into the water uncontrollably, just like I had done, and laughed to myself. We'll see how he likes having no lungs. Dylan got in my face and crossed his arms.
That's insane! I'm sorry for not...
While on the train, the toddler sitting next to me started screaming and throwing his fists
So?
in the air, but his mom was glued to her phone and ignored him completely. Another passenger told her to control her kid, but she replied, I know how to handle my own child, without even looking up from her phone. Her toddler punched the windows and cried louder, and that's when she leaned over and snatched my phone from my hands. She gave it to her kid and told me, 2 minutes, he's having a meltdown. The kid stopped screaming and instead started smearing his chocolate fingers all over my phone screen. The mom smiled at the passenger from earlier and smirked, saying, see, told you I know how to control my child. But her child was jabbing my phone with his Cheeto dust fingers and trying to bend it in half while she just peacefully scrolled hers. I reached over and yanked my phone back from her kid, then moved further away from her. The toddler instantly screamed again and hit his seat repeatedly. She demanded I give him my phone back, but I just laughed. That's when her kid turned to her and reached for her phone instead. She tried to give him snacks and toys to distract him, but he threw them on the floor and hit her shoulder, screaming he wants her phone. Her face went red and she reluctantly gave it over, and he immediately started smearing chocolate and Cheeto dust all over her screen and into her charging port. He was calm for about a minute until the phone suddenly died. He threw it at the floor hard as he could, and it smashed into pieces. He screamed again and grabbed his mom's jacket, and I just put in my earbuds. The other passenger looked at her and said, so, you sure you know how to control your child? She stared at her broken phone and her child screaming around her and just started crying. While on the train, the toddler sitting next to me.
That was crazy.
While on the train, I was jumping on my trampoline when the old
There's nothing... Oh.
man next door sprayed me in the face with his hose. I lost my balance and missed the trampoline completely when I came down. Mr. Crane, why would you do that? I could have been really hurt.
Mr. You kind of deserve it. You kind of deserve that name because you're gonna get used as a crane. That kind of has a beat.
Don't talk back to me, boy. I don't want to see you bouncing on that thing again, or I'll evict your family by the end of the week. He meant it. Mr. Crane was our landlord. He lived in the unit next door to us. We only ever saw him when he came to dig in his garden, or when he came to collect rent. The trampoline was my favorite thing in the backyard, so I decided to wait it out and come back when the coast was clear. A few hours later, I was jumping again. Every time I bounced, I could see into Mr. Crane's backyard. He was gardening again. But instead of planting flowers, I saw that he was burying a human hand. I bounced again. This time, when I looked over the fence, Mr. Crane was staring directly at me. I told you I didn't want you jumping on that damn thing anymore. Now you'll pay. He ran full speed and hopped the fence into my backyard. I used my jump to get as close to my back door as possible and ran into the house. He followed me up the stairs into my room and stood in the doorway swinging his shovel at me. I was trapped. I looked out the window into the backyard. Below me was the trampoline. I dove out and aimed for it. I hit the target perfectly and bounced onto the ground. Mr. Crane jumped after me, but I was able to grab our garden hose and spray him in the face the same way he did to me. He came down just as hard as I did earlier. When he landed, he dropped his shovel. I knocked him out and called the police. They searched his home and found the remains of the family who lived in our unit before us. My favorite pastime may have saved my life. I was jumping on my trampoline when the old man next door sprayed me in the face with...
Mr. Crane, he deserved that name. Because he's gonna get used as a crane. I like that beat for no reason. Oh, that's karma.
For years, kids at school made fun of me for not knowing what a Fortnite dub was.
Another believe it. Yeah.
Until one day, that finally changed. My parents banned all technology since I was born, so every day my mom ran a metal detector over me at the door. You know the rules, she'd say. Screens rot your brain. No technology until you're 18. I nodded, holding back tears, because I had no friends and no life. But that day, my uncle was waiting on the couch. He pulled me aside, slipped an iPad into my hands and whispered, "Trust me, you'll thank me later." I had no idea what he meant, but I snuck it into my room with shaking hands, praying my parents wouldn't find out. That night, I was so excited I hid under my blanket and downloaded Fortnite. And for the first time ever, I was playing with the kids who made fun of me. I was the first person to die, but I laughed anyway, finally feeling normal. Then footsteps pounded down the hall. I heard laughing. "What are you doing in there?" my mom screamed. I shoved the iPad under my mattress just as they burst through the door. My dad tore through my drawers while my mom flipped my backpack upside down, and I stopped breathing every time they got close. She crossed her arms. "Get up, we're checking your bed." My whole body shook as she checked under the bed, but she missed it. For 1 second, I thought I was safe. Then my dad lifted the mattress, and the iPad slid onto the floor. "An iPad? Who gave this to you?" my mom shrieked. "My uncle," I whispered. "That's it. No technology until you're 30. Then my dad grabbed his keys. "And we're going to your uncle's right now." At my uncle's door, my parents exploded. "You gave him poison behind our backs and ruined everything," my mom screamed, shoving the iPad at his chest. "Now he's banned until he's 30. I stood behind them, head down, tears dripping off my chin, too defeated to speak. But my uncle didn't take the iPad. He pointed at me. "Your son has no friends. He's bullied every day because of your stupid rule." I looked up, wiping my tears. I gave him that iPad because I was him once, and I swore I'd never let it happen to another kid. He's staying here every weekend so he can be a kid, starting today. My parents opened their mouths, but nothing came out, knowing my uncle was right. He grabbed me and shut the door on them. "Told you you'd thank me later." I smiled and bolted to his PS5. "Now teach me how to win dubs on Fortnite." For years, kids at school made fun of me for not knowing what a Fortnite dub was, until one day, that finally changed. My parents... I put my hand over my little brother's mouth to keep him quiet. We were awoken in the middle of the night by the...
Why? Is there a burglar in that? Wait. Now I know, it's a bear. It's a bear.
Flash of emergency flares and the sounds of footsteps outside of our tent. We had no idea what was happening. The zipper at the
Like this? Tiptoe, tiptoe.
front of the tent began to fall, and my brother screamed hard against my hand, but I was able to muffle it. When the flap opened, the full beam of a flashlight blinded us both. When our vision returned, we recognized the figures holding them almost immediately. It was our parents. "Get up." Their tone was pure panic. "There's no time to explain. We have to go now." I removed my hand from my brother's mouth and helped him up. Just then, we heard a noise that couldn't have been human. It sounded savage and primal, and worst of all, it sounded like it was 10 feet away.
So not like this? Tiptoe, tiptoe.
Closing. We came out of our tent to see a 10-foot grizzly bear standing across the campfire from us. It was foaming at the mouth and moving unpredictably.
It just wanted tiptoe, tiptoe. Okay, I'm stopped.
Great. It's rabid too. The rabid bear charged forward straight through the campfire, sending pieces of burning wood flying, and pinned my little brother to the ground. "Oh, Jesus God, Caleb," my mother cried. "Son, look up." My dad pointed into the air just above the bear. Our family's camping supply crate hung suspended over a tree branch. This tactic was supposed to keep bears away, but it sure got this one's attention. "Hurry! Do something!" My brother was using all of his strength to keep the bear's jaws from touching him. The crate was staked to the ground about 5 feet from where I lay. I knew I wouldn't make it to the rope in time myself, so I pulled out my pocket knife, opened the blade, and made the throw of my life. The blade grazed the side of the rope. It was tattered, but not broken. The bear's jaws were lowering on my brother's head. Without another thought, I grabbed a piece of burning wood the bear had scattered and hurled it at the weakened rope. A spark landed exactly on the last strand, and the whole thing snapped with the sound of a bullwhip. The heavy supply
I'm
crate dropped.
reacting.
You're reacting with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So you can see that. Baka naman nakikita yung lubot ni Papa.
Hindi.
There's no video?
Yeah. Screen
Only
recording
voice?
lang.
Only voice, miss, ano?
Yeah.
You want to eat na?
Subo.
Subo.
Yeah.
You just come out, okay?
Okay.
Straight down onto the bear's head and shattered into splinters. The bear was knocked out. Together we pushed the unconscious bear off of my brother. Then a searchlight
Let's go.
lit us up, accompanied.
My dad is still asleep.
I put my hand over my little brother's mouth to keep noise that couldn't have been human. It sounded... My dad pointed into the air just above the... where I lay. I knew I wouldn't make it to the broken. The bear's jaw strand, and the whole thing snapped with the sound of a bullwhip. The heavy supply crate dropped straight down onto the bear's head and shattered into splinters. The bear was knocked out. Together we pushed the
And then they tiptoed together. Tiptoe, tiptoe.
unconscious bear off of my brother. Then a searchlight lit us up, accompanied by the sound of a helicopter. A voice over a loudspeaker said, "Parks Department Rescue Division, we saw your flare. I'm dropping a ladder now, you folks will be all right." We were flown to the nearest hospital.
Folks? Folks? You kidding me?
And we would never return to that campsite again. I put my hand over my little brother's mouth. I was in the house when I heard my son
This is the last
Cream
one
at the top.
because look what the time is. It's 50. Oh, okay, bye. Bye. I hope you have an amazing day and be good kids and never do things that are bad and like bullying, blah blah blah. And thank you for watching and bye guys.